All of the Pokemon and Easter eggs in the new Detective Pikachu trailer. The second Detective Pikachu trailer has dropped, and it's bursting at the seams with Easter eggs and, of course, Pokemon. We're gonna do our best to catch them all, and since there's so much to unpack in this trailer, let's just get right to it. Right at the top, we're getting more context for the film, with Pikachu waking up with amnesia and finding a hat with the missing detective Harry Goodman's name and address in it. Side note, pay attention to the bridge in the background because we think this will come into play later on in the trailer. Next, we're reintroduced to Tim Goodman, with Detective Pikachu explaining how he found his way to Tim's apartment. And in case you missed it in the first trailer, Tim is the only one who understands Pikachu. As we move along, check out that neon sign outside of the apartment building that spells out Oak. That has to be a shout out to Professor Oak, the OG professor from the Gen 1 series, and we even see a few Joltik hanging out on the power lines here. We also see that Detective Pikachu is addicted to caffeine, and since his powers are electric, talk about getting your morning jolt, am I right? Hello. That was B-Comp's joke. And speaking of caffeine, we got Ludicolo serving coffee at the cafe. Next, we get our first shot of a lab facility, followed by Catherine Newton as a reporter named Lucy. And from there, it's another shot of Charizard, who we also saw in the first trailer battling Pikachu. He's with his trainer Sebastian, played by Omar Chaparro, who has a tasteful cartoon version of Charizard tattooed to his chest. Then we see what's very likely Harry Goodman's car getting hit with a blast of some sort and being launched off a bridge. Hey, remember that bridge from earlier? That's right, this could be the same spot where we first meet Detective Pikachu. Next up, we get a couple of huge shots packed with details and Pokemon, so grab your magnifying glass and let's try to spot them all.
Who's that Pokemon?
At the headquarters of the Ryme City Police Department, we see police officers with their Pokemon partners, which reinforces the idea that in this city, Pokemon aren't trained/owned by humans and instead have more of a partner relationship. In this shot, we spot Growlithe, Charmander, Golurk, Squirtle, Arcanine, and a quick shot of what looks like an Emolga riding by in the basket of a bike. Plus, we think we spotted a Kingler's giant claw in the back behind another Arcanine, and way in the background, we're seeing a large pink Audino strolling by. In the very next shot of a Ryme City street, we've got even more Pokemon lurking. Out front, we've got Machamp directing traffic while a sleepy Snorlax blocks it. Zoom enhance to see what's likely Pangoro walking way in the back as the pre-evolved version of him, Pancham, is crossing the street. We also get another look at Jigglypuff, Golurk, and another Emolga sitting on top of a bus stop, plus tons of street signs, including that Jolteon sign in the background. Now we've got some quick close-ups of Snubbull, Bulbasaur, and Lickitung on the train, and we've seen this shot before in the first trailer. It's the posters of a missing Squirtle and Pancham. Next, we're back to Tim and Detective Pikachu in an alley. Check out that neon sign of Noctowl. This kicks off a montage of Tim and the detective attempting to unravel the case, featuring what is so far our favorite line.
Ah, my clues!
The floor of Tim's apartment is littered with coffee cups and clues, which is exactly what happens when your new roommate is a caffeine-addicted amnesiac Pokemon who is also a detective. We then cut to Tim's father, Harry, climbing out of the car wreck. No clues as to who is actually playing him in the movie just yet. Next, we've got a neon berry juice sign in the background of a diner, and later we see a stream with a bunch of Bulbasaurs and more lulls while Tim carries what appears to be an injured Pikachu. And in this same forest setting, we get a bunch of Comfey floating around the trees. Then we go to some type of vault where something has busted out of a containment unit and knocked down that giant door. Wonder what that could be from. If we only knew. We cut back to more shots of the lab with Lucy and her Psyduck, and behind them we see some containment units open up with a Greninja hand emerging. Back at the city, we get that shot from the first trailer of Jigglypuff with a sleeping patron who is definitely under the influence of the cute Pokemon's power to put people to sleep while singing. Next is an exterior shot of some kind of loading dock where we can just make out what appears to be an Octillery and Pidgeot near the bottom of the screen. Then we see multiple Loud Red on stage surrounding a DJ booth in the battle arena. We've got Diplo and the guy yelling into the mic next to him as the same Charizard trainer with the Charizard tat on his chest. A man of many talents, apparently. Also, nice call to the critical hit during battles in the games. Speaking of battles, we next see Blastoise attacking Gengar with what looks like rapid spin in. We see that loud red DJ booth in the background, and above it we see flashing signs that read Gengar was using Double Team. Also tucked away under that booth is an aquarium with everyone's favorite useless Pokemon, Magikarp. Then we get our very first look at a Pokeball, which opens up to reveal Cubone. Next, we get a quick look at a containment unit explosion that's strong enough to blow someone off their feet. Could be the same busted up containment unit we saw earlier, where the vault doors were blasted off. What Pokemon, though, is powerful enough to do this? Is this Pokemon Mew to us? After that, we see a brief shot of Rita Ora as a scientist in the lab, followed by our very first look at a Pokemon evolving. It's Eevee evolving into a Flareon. And check out those statues in the background. They are 3 of the legendary Pokemon. Dialga is on the left, Palkia is on the right, and Arceus is in the center. Next is a whole ton of action shots, Greninja's in the lab chasing Tim and Pikachu, some angry Apoms attacking, and Pikachu gliding along on a Pikachu hot air balloon. Notice that Pikachu doesn't have his hat here, and he's starting to use his powers, and after a quick shot of Tim sliding down a tunnel, we do see Pikachu fully using his powers, likely Thunderbolt. And we're back to some angry Apom attacking with some very purple eyes. Apom fans would notice that this is not normal behavior for the usual cutesy Pokemon. We think we know why. For more on that, check out our Nerdist news on the one detail Mewtwo fans missed. Next, we see a huge blast rippling through the trees. Then we're back in the arena where Pikachu is in the fighting area, and we've got those loud red in the background. Next shot, we see Charmander and Squirtle looking on from behind the fence. All right, so there's a ton of Pokemon in these arena shots, so get your Pokeballs ready. We've got Rattata, Charmander again, Pancham, Trico, and Rufflet all behind the fence watching Pikachu get ready to battle. Then there's Pancham again, Jigglypuff, Lickitung, Audino, Octillery, Squirtle, Growlithe, Trico once again, and the evolved version of Rufflet, Braviary. The angry fire-breathing Charizard's got purple eyes, folks. We've got a theory, and again, for more on that, check out our Nerdist news on the one detail Mewtwo fans missed. Also amongst the spectators, we're thinking that's a big old Slaking, and this might be a Sneasel. Moving on from the arena, we've got these angry Apoms with their tails lighting up, and next some Greninja jumping from the trees as the earth friggin' explodes. Psyduck and Pikachu ride on Lucy and Tim's backs as they try to escape the Earthsplosion. Then we get the biggest moment of the trailer, a giant Pokemon balloon explodes, revealing none other than Mewtwo!
That's very twisty.
Another quick Easter egg here. Those stones on the desk next to Detective Pikachu look like evolution stones. This is the same office that we saw the Flareon in earlier, so it would make sense to see representations of other evolutionary stones. We then get one last shot of Pikachu using what we think is Volt Tackle before we see the title. And we close with another sweet gag of Mr. Mime trying to get away. So that's it. Those are all of the Easter eggs and Pokemon we spotted in the Detective Pikachu trailer. What did you folks think? Did we catch them all or did we miss any? What's your favorite on-screen Pokemon you've seen so far? And how many times do you think you will see this movie in the theater? A gazillion. Let's discuss. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we go live with the show or drop a new video. And if you're craving more Detective Pikachu action, check out, in case you didn't hear about it, our Nerdist news on the one detail Mewtwo fans missed. You can catch it right now on Nerdist YouTube.